businesswoman, and welcome to the house. Today we are talking about the nice girl identity, which I don't know about you, but is definitely one that was home to me for a really, really long time. And the thing is about the nice girl identity is that nobody talks about the fact that that identity is probably the one that's keeping you broke, keeping you exhausted. Because being nice as a business strategy is not really the one. And so let me just describe her to you. She's warm, she's accommodating, she's agreeable. Everybody loves working with her. There's never any conflict, there's never a cross word. She has very, very soft edges. There is nothing that she will go out her way. You can tell I'm speaking from experience, right? She'll go out her way to make sure you don't feel anything but comfort. Her job is to make you comfortable. And her experience of that is she feels uncomfortable a lot of the time. How this shows up in business is that this means that she's chronically undercharging. It means that she's over delivering. It means that she is adding bonuses onto bonuses onto bonuses to make it feel better to the person receiving the offer. She'll have given absolutely loads away for free, which is, again, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's the energy in which you're giving it for free. You're giving it for free because you genuinely want to give something, or you're giving it for free because you're too scared to charge. That's the problem. And so it's not that being nice is the problem, but niceness as an identity doesn't work. In the long haul, it's just not sustainable. And the truth is, like everything else, like all the other identities I talk about, the ones that I have, recognized time and time and time again, they all come from the same place. They are all trying to keep you safe. They are a survival strategy. And with the nice girl, it was approval that was safe. So approval was safe, disapproval felt dangerous. So the nice girl learned to become palatable, agreeable, say yes when she meant no, say no when she means yes. This especially shows up with visibility when, you're asked to do something and the part of you, that wants to go for it, but you go, oh no, no, it's fine. You do it. I'll let you do it this time, because the visibility is really hard for the nice girl because she can't control how people receive her. She can't, if she shows up on a big stage or she shares something really visibly and really publicly, she can't make sure that everybody feels comfortable with what she's going to say. So she almost feels completely, grabbed by the throat, because how do I possibly say what I want to say without offending anybody? So visibility and saying what she wants to say becomes difficult. So there's a part of her that has stuff to say, has wisdom, wants to share something bold, but the nice girl identity in her just won't let her. You can't say that, because what if it upsets XYZ? What if it upsets this person? Blah, blah, blah. This means that, she softens her prices. It's a major issue because it affects every single part of the business, and all the three things that I talk about. Visibility, I've just spoke about. Impact, you can't make a big impact because you can't control the receiving of that impact, and therefore so you keep yourself small. And income, you're not charging, so it's keeping you broke. And it also looks like, discounting without even being asked. It's just going, oh, do you know what, I'll just give you 50% off, or I'll just give you 20% off, go on, just me and you. That kind of vibe. You can tell I'm speaking from experience, right? And I'll own it. Like, I'll own it. For the first few years of my business, longer than it was necessary, I was doing this 100%. Over explaining your pricing, apologizing for your rates, knocking a little bit off here and there, just even knocking a bit off so the other person felt special or felt seen, or like you were doing them a favor. And it all is quite manipulative when we think about it. It's just, what can I say? What can I do from this place of fear so you like me? And I'll share my personal story here. Like, when I was a kid, I went out my way every day to make sure that everybody liked me. And so if somebody didn't like me, I took it really, I took offense. Because I'd be just like, I didn't get it. I'd just be like, how can you not like me? I've literally done everything I can in my nice girl toolbox to make sure you like me. I've been agreeable. I've said yes. I've laughed at your jokes. I've done what you wanted to do every single time. I've I've not, not disagreed with you, so you didn't feel disagreed with. And the thing is that I know from experience, this builds resentment because, and it actually turns into something that's not nice because resentment is not a vibe. It's not a good feeling. And so if your constant niceness is a form of manipulation at the end of the day, and it all comes from protection. It's not, it's not manipulation to get something. It's just manipulation so you don't feel uncomfortable. So you don't feel, your nervous system doesn't feel triggered in any way. So essentially, this is addiction approval. Like, I need to be approved of. I need you to approve me. I need you to like me. And this is classic prostitute shadow. So selling out your truth for acceptance. Every time you lower, and the way this manifests is that every time you lower your price, every time you say yes when you meant no, you're betraying yourself a little bit. So you build this sense of lack of trust because you know for a fact that if you say you're going to do something and then something else comes up for somebody else and they want you to do that, you're not going to do the thing you want to do. You're going to abandon that and you're going to do what you're asked to do. And so your self-trust muscle is weak because you don't trust yourself because you know that if you're going to need someone's approval, which is most of the time because we're always around humans, whether that be, at work, in our businesses, and our families, in our, with our kids, whatever, we're going to always want approval. So we're going to abandon ourselves left, right, and center, and therefore we won't trust ourselves. And every time you avoid conflict, because this is such a major driver of the nice girl identity, is that she's going to avoid conflict at all costs. Every time she does that, your nervous system learns that truth isn't safe to express. Saying what matters to you, saying what you think, saying what you feel is not safe. And the nice girl isn't kind, she's just scared. And it's really important here to define the difference between nice and kind. Because I have met some very, very, very kind, wonderful people with very firm boundaries. I've also met some very, very nice people who weren't kind underneath it. In fact, that's more common than you would think because the nice girl appearance is a performance, but under it is resentment. Under it is not kindness. It's a real thing. And I think one of the things that is triggering to a nice girl is when they see a woman stand in her power, they see a woman who has really firm boundaries and is also really kind. In her body, it doesn't feel good because her executing those boundaries and holding firm in those boundaries doesn't feel like kindness because kindness to her is being nice. And she confuses those two things. And so when we start to go, oh, actually, this kind thing isn't, this nice thing isn't working for me. I need to step more into my power. It feels really dangerous to do that because that means in my head that if I drop my niceness, that's going to make me cruel. It's going to make me mean. It's such an important distinction. So in the body, the people-pleasing layer is the fawn response. It's the nervous system's way of managing that threat through appeasement. Let me just manage this. Let me just say yes. Let me just agree. So the body reads disapproval as danger. And so she keeps managing other people's comfort at the expense of her own truth. And I have lived this. I have done this. I have been this. So the exhaustion isn't from working too hard. It's having to bloody manage every single other person in the room's emotions. It's making sure that everybody feels comfortable, which is a really big ask when you think about it, because A, you don't know what's going on in people's minds. So you're having to preempt or assume, and you will have a toolbox of things that you do that are go-tos for not upsetting the apple cart. And here's the identity piece. You cannot build a thriving business and have everybody approve of you. Leadership, true leadership, kindness, boundaries requires people to disagree with you sometimes. Holding that identity is going to upset some people. Premium pricing requires holding firm. Visibility requires, not needing everybody to like you. It's being okay with putting yourself on a larger platform and knowing that you can't control what people think, how people see you, how they perceive you, and that's got to be okay. And one of my massive, massive breakthroughs was that was a real thing for me. This nice girl identity was the one that was deepest rooted in me and the one that needed the most exorcism. Because I came up with every excuse on the planet as to why I wasn't doing this or doing that. But the truth is that I was too, that part of me, I'll not say I because it's not my whole self, but that part of me was just absolutely terrified of being seen, being judged, being criticized, being labeled, being all the things. So it's real, this. It really is real. And if it's resonating, if this conversation is feeling a little bit uncomfortable, then that's because she's being called out. But I want you to know it's not you. It's not your whole you. The woman that you are scared to step into is actually who you are. This version, this nice girl version of you, is just the part of you that's been keeping you safe. It is the manifestation of your nervous system going, okay, this is what we do in order to stay safe. Let's just keep doing that. It's worked so far. But you're being called to something different. You know there's a different version of you available. She's who you really are. But in order to really step into her, you have to let this part of you go. Because the cold hard facts is the nice girl identity will keep you broke and exhausted. You'll have a beautiful reputation, but a really empty bank account. And that's just facts. So the work isn't to become hard or cold or difficult. Like I said, this is not it, you get to be kind and powerful. You get to be loving, boundaried, and powerful. This is an and situation, not an either or. And I think that is the lie that the nice girl will tell us is that, well, if you're not nice, that means you'll be mean and people definitely won't like you. You're guaranteed not to like you if you're that. And I will say that when you are somebody who stands fully in your power, owns your voice, owns who you are, knows who you are, and really is okay with that, it's going to ruffle feathers just by definition. Your energy will ruffle feathers because it's so firm and grounded in itself that it's going to put a mirror up to other people where they're not being that and it will ruffle feathers. So, really exercising this part of you is like the work here, and this is the work we do in the house. The work here is like, okay, where do we feel that? Where does that fear feel? Where do we feel it in our body? Where does our body tighten at the thought of that? It's bringing presence to that feeling, allowing that feeling to move through us and making it safe. And our nervous system needs evidence, but we have to initiate that evidence. We can't just sit there and wait for it to happen. We have to put ourselves in the presence of that energy and the presence of that feeling so we can alchemize it, so we can release it, so we can let it go. The growth here and the embodiment here is becoming the woman whose self-worth isn't contingent to other people's approval. Because essentially that's what we're saying here. The nice girl takes every single bit of her self-worth, every ounce of her self-worth and level of self-respect from other people. And so you've got to make them like you, because if they like you, that gives you a little tick on your self-worth. This is the other way around. The self-worth has to be so grounded and in your body. It radiates out, which is going to ruffle feathers. It's going to make people feel uncomfortable. But we have to put ourselves in that position in order to feel it. Because kindness from wholeness looks completely different to niceness from fear. And your clients will feel the difference. Your customers will feel the difference. The people that you meet in your life and your business will feel the difference. People feel when it's performative rather than something that comes from another place, a grounded whole place. So if you recognized yourself in today's little chat, then this is exactly the work we do inside the house. The house has two wings. It's had an extension. There are two wings to the house because this is an ever evolving thing. We have the shadow wing, which is really, we meet all these edges, we meet these identities, we bring them out into the light, we alchemize them, we integrate them, we make them, we love them. At the same time, which is the east wing, which is the light wing, building a self concept that is grounded in your body and feels safe in your body. And what happens is the cyclical nature of this process means that we proactively do the work to ground our new self concept that's going to move us in the direction of that beautifully embodied, woman that we desire to be and that we are. And as we do that, it will show us the shadow we need to alchemize. And so you would go from east wing to west wing, back to east wing, back to west wing. And you're just constantly doing that work as you move through each layer and each embodiment and each level. It's a beautiful thing. So if you would love more information on the house, there is a link in the comments below. You can chat, have a little look at that. Any questions, feel free to reach out. But this one's going to land for a lot of people, and it's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just you're conditioned. Life has conditioned you that way, and that's okay. It's the same, there's nothing wrong with you. This part of you just needs retiring, because the part, that version of you that's available, that version of you you can imagine and that you can see and you can feel into momentarily, you get to be her more the more you let go of this. Those two things cannot exist together. And so that is the gap. That is the journey, is letting go of this daily, embodying this new version daily, letting go of it daily, and just gaining the evidence in your body, in your mind, in your experience of life itself, that this is okay. This is who I am now. So I hope that's landed. I hope that served you. I've loved talking to you as ever, and I will speak to you very soon.